Hello once again, this is Drew, this is JustAGuyLinux, and this is our second in a series on floating window managers that reside on Debian. So let's talk about XFWM. This is the window manager that's built into XFCE. Now, I got to be careful here because what I don't want to do is install the entire XFCE suite. Now, would that be bad? No, because XFCE rocks, and it is my favorite desktop environment by a mile. Now, I'm looking at my open box that I ended yesterday. If you have not seen that video, I'll try to leave one of those or try to put one of those handy dandy here. Click on this if you want to see that video things that show up on YouTube videos that I have no idea how to do. So regardless, I'm going to need a couple packages in order to get where we need to go. All right, so I'm just going to start a terminal. All right, and we are going to sudo apt install XFWM4. And that's it. So that's going to be the bulk of what we need to do. All right. Now there is going to be a couple things that we're going to need to incorporate as well. Let me show you something really quickly. It's kind of interesting because what you're not going to be able to do is start any of these XFWM programs while you're in a different window manager. So I'm just going to say XFWM. Okay. And there's settings and tweak settings and workspace settings. Now, can I start settings? And the answer is no, because I'm currently in OpenBox. So we're going to need to get and log into XFWM in order for that to be able to use these programs. So let me go ahead and clear the screen. Now, I did want to mention something. Matt from the LinuxCast has a Linux user group that meets every couple weeks, and I was participating in the one a couple weeks ago, and we talked about XFCE for a few minutes, basically. And Matt mentioned something about where settings are. They are bifurcated, so you have key bindings in one spot and window key bindings in a completely different spot. And that is the case here. In fact, you have no key bindings outside of Windows, the window key bindings. So in order for you to be able to use key bindings, you are actually going to need XXHKD. So we're going to do that. We're going to install XXHKD. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and clear the screen. And I think that's all I really need for right this second. We'll be able to do more. However, let me go into the X sessions. So I'm going to cd into user share X sessions. Okay. And there is only the openbox.desktop. So if we need to log in like we are with our Live Console Manager or LightDM or whatever you choose to use, okay, we're going to need another desktop file. So let's just say we're going to sudo micro, because I'm using micro text editor, okay, and then XFWM4.desktop. Goodness. Okay. All you really need are these three files. And you're going to ask, why do you need this XFWM start? And most window managers have their own startup or auto start. XFWM does not. And it makes sense because XFCE has an application to manage sessions and startup on login. So XFWM does not. So I thought to myself, this may be a really easy way, and this is my easy way to affect this particular startup procedure without having to do it in an xinitRC or what have you. This is just a bash script that starts XFWM as well as all the applications that you want to start on login. So let's save that and quit. And let's actually go to our home user directory. And I did put this XFWM start here. I'm not even sure. It's a chmod. Let me make sure that it is an executable. Plus x dot goodness xf. Okay. And let's make sure what it looks like. Okay. So I'm going to micro into dot xf start. Okay. And what it is doing, just by, because I want to be able to do something, I had it start tilex. That's something I'll probably remove from this particular start procedure, but dunst pycom. And then we're going to need xxhkd. So at least a couple lines of it. So let's take care of that right now. So I'm going to go over and just add a sxhkd-c. Is this right? I think it's right. .config. And I'm going to go ahead. I think there is a, let me make sure I know what the heck I'm talking about, right? I'm going to put it in the .config, and I'm actually going to put it in this XFCE4 directory, just so that it's out of the way. And so I'm going to go XFCE4 and then xxhkd-rc, and there you go. Okay. And as well, you know what, while I'm here and I have the Thunar open, I'm going to pick a different background image, and let's just put this XFWM4 PNG. Okay. So XFWM4.png, and I don't really, you know what, I'm just going to leave tilex there for right this second, and what we need to do is just say save and quit, and let's go over here. Actually, I was in the wrong spot. Config XFCE4, and let's create a empty file, and let's call it sxhkd-rc. Okay, and let's go ahead and open this with Genie. Okay, now I do have something open already. This is probably my xxhkd from this would be from DWM. Okay, but I'm going to just copy and paste a portion of this just to get things started. Okay, so I think, well, let me just get let me get this right here. Actually, should I take all of it? I'm just going to do all of this, and then we'll modify it. So I'm just going to copy this and put this here. And then the one thing that I don't have, because it's in the DWM, is a super return. So let me just go ahead and put a super plus return. And let's go with tilex. Okay, and then also this super space, I'm going to use XFCE4 app finder. Now remember, we installed that when we were using when we were doing OpenBox. So if you again, if you haven't seen that one, I installed that one basically to replace Rofi. Okay, so I'm just going to save this. Okay, now I think that's all we really need at this point. So I'm just going to exit. Okay, and look at that. XFWM is in our login. So let's just see if that will work. Nice. Wow. Okay. So based on our SXHKD, if I hit super space, yep, App Finder comes up. And I want to go ahead and look at the window manager. Okay. Let's click on that. Actually, I don't need this for right now. And here's that keyboard, okay? And this is only for window functions. So I want to make sure that we're going to change a bunch of things, including, so let me just add something really quickly. But I use Alt-Tab for Genie, and I don't like it for this cycle windows, even though this is probably the smart thing to do is to use Alt-Tab. I'm just going to click on Super Tab, and then I'm just going to say use cycle windows here. And then close window. Obviously, we're going to go Super Q and maximize, hide, and so on. I don't really care about any of these things, so I'm just going to leave them. Move to left monitor. Okay, now if this is a single monitor, you may want to end up putting these keybinds in. Move to previous workspace. Okay, so I think what I'd like to do is just say Super Shift left. And next is Super Shift right. And say move window to workspace 1. I'm going to say Super Shift 1. 2. Sorry, this is boring right here. 4. 5. 6. Super Shift 7. Super Shift 8. 9. And 0. Okay. Tile to the bottom. So if I hit super up right here, so what happens if I do this? Super up? Nope. And on the keypad, super up? Nope. All right, well, do I need numlock on for that? It doesn't matter. I don't think that I would do this, so I'm just going to clear. And then tile window left is super left arrow key, super right. And again, this is completely your preference. So I'm going to clear that, clear that, clear that, clear upper workspace. I don't even know what that means. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to clear. Again, so it doesn't, I mean, again, if this is something that you want to play with, then that's fine. So workspace 1, we definitely want. And that's going to be super 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, and then don't need these, so I'm going to clear these out. I'm not sure I want to have something that adds workspace, so I'm going to clear this and clear this. Okay, so there you go. This is, so if I say, I'm going to go ahead and close, and let's just open up something. And if I say super right or super left, that's good. Now again, this is something that's interesting to me because you can add margins to this. So let's just say I want to open up something, and now if I want to margin or put some, not borders, but because you can see that the borders are managed by PyCom. But let's say I want to add space in between each window. So I'm going to open up the application finder and go to workspaces. Okay. So I selected 10 workspaces, so I'm going to bump this up to 10. Now, as far as margins are concerned, this is going to be interesting here. I'm not sure because let's say what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put the same everywhere. So I'm going to say 16, which is what I use for DWM. So I'm just going to say 16 and 16 and close. Huh. So nothing changed. Let's try this again. So if I open this up and yeah. So I don't know if you saw, but Control F and then left. Huh. That's a really wide margin. Did I not do that correctly? Let's try that again. Sorry. Workspaces. Margins. Did I do this wrong? Did I have 160? Yeah, I did. I had 160. Okay, so sorry. Let me just do that again real quick. 16. And try to put that here. Yep. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now, here's the strange thing. This is something I wasn't really, I did not necessarily think about, and that is the in-between of individual applications. I thought that there would be a border in between these two things. Now, this is not a deal breaker for me at all. And not to mention, let me go back, because I want to be able to see, let me show you something really quickly. I know this is this kind of goes, this is my train of thought, right? I would like it if this was centered on the screen. Okay. So what I think I need to do is, let's go to, is it Window Manager? I'm not sure. Oop, I hit the wrong button. Window Manager, Advanced, Focused. No, this is not right. So is it Tweaks? Goodness, I can't even spell. Placement. Here we go. So if I want this, I just put this on large and put this on the middle of the screen. So now when I do a open up, everything is centered. I don't know if that's something that you like, or so if I just say everything is centered here, and I can start moving things around. Again, this is a preference thing, okay? Now here's an optional thing that I think is kind of cool, but I might be the only one. So I'm gonna open up my Genie. And I did change this XFWM start slightly because I took out the tilix and I put in this workspace monitor. So when I do change workspaces, it's going to give me dunst feedback. Okay, so like right now, if I hit Super 2, it says workspace change to workspace, workspace change, switch to workspace 2. I went back to 1, and there it is. It just gives me a dunst feedback that the workspace was changed. Now, why would you use this? Probably if you're not going to use either a bar or a panel. We are going to use a panel because I think XFCE4 panel is unbelievably good. We're going to talk about that more in a sec, okay? But as far as XXHKDRC, I included these. Again, these are my scripts that you can find in the dot, in my dot files. And if I say Super Shift up or down, it's going to change the volume, okay? And if I hit Super Shift M, it's going to mute it. And if I hit it again, it's going to toggle it back to an on position, okay? That really is the only thing that I wanted to talk about. And again, completely optional. Let's move back over to XFWM start, and we're going to add the XFCE4 panel to our start procedure. It has not been installed yet. Okay, I just wanted to kind of get ahead of it. So let me go ahead and do that, and let's open up a terminal. Actually, let me go ahead and close Genie. And so I can just say XFCE4 panel. Okay, cool. So I'm glad it stopped me because I did want to mention how lightweight this is. Okay, so you're not really putting a whole slew of packages or new packages to your Debian build. You're just adding 2, and that's pretty darn cool. much like when we installed the XFCE4 app finder. These applications can work independent of XFCE, the entire desktop. So that is why we can just simply install this and not have a great deal of bloat to our Debian system. Now, since we added already the panel to the start script, we can I think we can just restart Lie and then relog back in, and let's see what happens. Okay, cool. Now, these are the two panels that are default with XFCE. So let's be very clear about what we can and cannot install at this point. Let me give you the example. So I'm just going to open up Firefox and I'm going to say Whisker menu. Actually, it's right there. Okay, and it's under Bookworm. Just make sure I know what the heck I'm talking about. But basically, I don't know what percentage of people use the Whisker menu plugin in their panel. Probably a large number. If you decide to install this, you might as well just use XFCE, because I think as a plugin, it's going to install the entire desktop environment. And up until this point, we've been trying to avoid all of that. So I'm going to suggest you don't do that. Now, there are a few things that stick out right away when I'm looking at the panel, as well as a maximized application, as well as another smart panel or like auto hide panel. I don't know that I would use the auto hide panel at all. So what I'm going to do initially is go to panel preferences. Now, again, personal preference again. So just be aware, I'm going to remove this. Okay. So we're only going to be working with the top panel. Now, it is 26 pixels. And like I said, this is too high. It's kind of like encroaching on the panel. So what I want to do is go back to workspaces. And let's look at the margins. And since it's 16, it makes sense. So let's put this at, let's just do 50 for now. Okay. And okay. And so if I do this again, it's going to have a space here. So, be aware of, because I might actually make this a little bit bigger. So let's go to panel preferences and let's make the row size up to 32. Sounds fine. Okay, let's I'm doing this on the fly, guys. So I also don't want this applications thing. I think it's kind of irrelevant since we have the super space for App Finder. Why don't we just change this? Let's remove this from the panel and let's add, can I just do App Finder? Applications menu. Nope. So I have to do a launcher, I think. And add, close, and let's move this to the top. And let's call this, let's put a application finder right there. And close. And close. So now, perfect. That's pretty much what I want, even though I have the, super space to open it. If you want a little, if you want something like this, then there you go. All right, now I don't know, this is going to be an adventure because I don't actually know. So if I go over here and I hit log out, yeah, I didn't think that was going to work. Okay. It's probably relying on XFCE4 session manager for this. So if you want to log out, you may need a script that allows you to log out. And I happen to have one in my .files under the bin directory. So like if I'm looking at my bin, there is a power, and I'm going to basically look at this as a way to log out. Now, I think I actually need to change one more thing too. So let's do this. I'm going to panel preferences and items and this action buttons. Let's remove that and let's add I guess maybe a launcher, huh? A launcher. And let's add. Is there a way to just do add an empty item? Okay, here we go. So power. And then the command is going to be home bin power, and then an icon is going to be, let's say, power. No, how about log out, shut down. Here we go. Let's try that. And create. Okay. So if I click on this, yep, it'll say log out. Now, I think I need to make one more quick change. So let me go ahead and close these. Oop. All right. So I'm going to open up that power script, okay? And I don't think this is going to work without sudo privileges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say sudo systemctl restart lie, and then let's go ahead and save. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be able to get this to work without a authentication. So let me close this and let's open up a terminal. And I'm going to go sudo vi sudo. Okay. And I'm going to go down. I'm using nano. Okay. Let's do that, because that's always fun. And let's say Drew, and then all equals all. I don't think you need that colon. So I say no PSSWD, two S's, right? Oop. PSSWD, there we go. And then colon, and then say bin system CTL restart lie. Okay, and let's go ahead and Control O, enter Control X. So I kind of got lost in my thought for a second. Let me just make sure. Yeah, it says sudo system CTL. Okay, so I think that's good. So I don't know if you have to reboot for this. So I think what I would like to do is just try it. Log out. Oh, okay, it worked. So basically all it really, so let me just log back in just so that I can get it twice in a row. All right, so if I hit Super X and then log out, it does exactly what I think it's going to do. Oh, this is great. Okay, so this basically means I don't have to install any type of XFCE4 sessions manager, and allows me to quickly log out. Well, that was annoying. I just recorded changing the clock, and it basically I wasn't recording at all. So I'll just go over what I did after the fact. Okay, so I was going into the properties of the clock, and I did time only, and then actually changed the font and used font size 9 instead of 8, and used this custom format and used this as my custom format. Let me see if just... Yeah. Totally up to you. Totally up to you. So, oh, you know what? One more thing real quick. Properties. So command calendar. So if I click on this, there is a calendar that comes up. But say you want Orage to come up, okay? And close. I think install Orage. This is totally something that you may not want at all, but it's something that you can do. All right, so if I click on this, Orage comes up, and you can say, all right, I want to go here, and you want to, well, it kind of looks cramped and stuff, but you can add an event if you want, and set up a, I think you can set up a notification. I have not used this in quite some time, so I'd be curious. If any of you try this out, let me know, okay? Because that sounds cool. And then actually I'm going to go ahead and quit. So I guess if it does load, it will track things like events and, you know, calendar events. But with it off like this, maybe it won't. But anyway, here is something I'm not like super excited about. Everything else I really like, okay? I like this, I don't love this. And it's hard for me to say that because amongst the group that I normally talk to, we all kind of have the same feeling about the XFCE4 panel bar, it being really, really good. Now, we all love Polybar and so on, and that will work, by the way. If you wanted to use Polybar instead of the XFCE4 panel, then you can get that to work. And I might do that. Who knows? However, let me show you what I don't like, okay? I'm going to Properties. I'm going to go ahead and close this so you can see. And I moved this, obviously, from here, and it being like, actually, it was on one row, and I think it was like this. And so here are the different workspaces that you can use. Unfortunately, when you go to workspace settings, you can't change anything here. So if you want a workspace name, you're going to need full-blown XFCE, I think, in order for that to accomplish that, okay? So I moved it. That doesn't mean because I would actually like to modify it a little bit more, especially just the workspaces area. Is this something that I absolutely have to have? No, not at all. I probably will go back to 2, and we're going to switch using the mouse wheel. That's good. That's fine. And so when I would go like this, you can see that I can use the mouse and scroll. It's, I don't know. That's good. That's cool. All right. But if I just have a terminal open or any application open, I can just say move to another and say I want to go to 9. And there it is on 9. Or I can just say Super 1, Super 9, and there it is. Or Super Shift 1, and it moves it back over to the first workspace. And it gives me some feedback of where things are open. So like, for example, if I was to open up GIMP, okay? I'm going to move this over to workspace 8, okay? And if I go to 8, it shows it's there. So just make sure, that way, you know, I know that there's a box there. See, box 1, box 8. Okay, same thing if I don't have OBS. I was going to install, what else should I do? So the file manager Thunar I usually have on workspace 4. Okay. And so you get the idea. You can change whatever you want. This also allows you to get textual feedback about where something or where you currently are. But I think this is enough. And I like this. I don't know that I'm using this, but somebody should try it. I don't know if it's going to be me, right? But somebody should try it. And maybe somebody just like, oh, dude, this is what I've been looking for. This is fantastic. I think if I had to choose between this and OpenBox, I probably would go with OpenBox, but that doesn't mean that there's less value here. Okay, so anyway, this is the end of the second in our series on floating window managers. Hope you enjoy it. and I'll talk to you soon.